Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. Before we get started, before I go off to the voicemail, and you can leave me a question if you like, just go to energyintuitive.com and go to the podcast page. I have one recommendation. If you just say, please tell me what's going on in my situation. So many people's situations are complex, meaning most people aren't in good relationships. Most people don't have jobs that fulfill them. Most people, their body isn't healthy or super healthy. So you don't have to give me a big storyline, but if you just say a situation, you're not going to get the best reading that you could possibly get. So if you could just, you could say relationship or work or my intuition or my body. If you don't have a specific question, that's just a good hint because again, it could take me a long time to read someone's energy and all the complexities about it, which is great for a session, but not when we're doing a podcast. Okay, so before we go to the voicemail questions, and thank you so much for leaving them. I love them. I love our new format. I'm having so much fun. I want to talk to you a little bit about angels and my perspective of it, what I've heard from the universe and what I believe to be true. So angels are a different species than humans. They don't typically cross. Oh, they can. If you've ever watched the movie City of Angels, I'm sure it's not that graphic or crazy, but they're different species. So angels typically don't come into the human kind of existence. They're a different type of energy. And the angels that are devoted to humanity are really devoted to humanity. I'm sure everyone listening has had an angelic moment where even a human has shown up who acts like an angel or might be an angel in your life when you're in, some kind of challenging moment in your life. So what angels are meant to do, they're very neutral. So think of the heart chakra, if it were in its most powerful aspect. All of your chakras are powerful. They have an emotional component that if we can be in that emotion, then that chakra gets to be in terms of its incredible power. And for the heart chakra, it's neutrality. That's why when you're in your heart a lot and you're over worrying and thinking and processing, you're draining your energy exponentially and you're not actually feeling what's really happening. You're projecting your own insecurities onto other people and other situations, or you're absorbing situations that have nothing to do with you, that they're not a part of your present moment. And it can make it very difficult to move forward in life. So angels don't have that issue. Their heart chakras are perfectly neutral. And that's why they can stand by a human being having one of the worst days in their life and offer authentic support. Because authentic support is uplifting. It's a high vibration. It's not a low frequency. I mean, it's important to show our compassion to others. That's critical. But even when I'm reading energy with someone who has a terrible illness or a child with a terminal disease, I have to go back to the most powerful vibration I can possibly hold when I'm helping someone to heal, not over empathy. That's actually not going to help. And everyone's been giving that to everyone. When anyone has a problem and they've shared it with their loved ones, people have already given you all the empathy that they could possibly muster. So angels know how to hold the highest vibrational frequency energy that could solve your problem and heal the situation effortlessly. And they're so good at it. They basically don't really show a lot of emotion on their faces. They look very human to me, but the universe shows me everything pretty much from the human perspective because I love humanity and I'm devoted to the human race. So angels to me look like humans, but my dog to me is an angel. I don't know what he's really like on the other side, at least at this moment. I don't know. I don't think he's a true angel, but he feels very angelic to me. And my grandchildren at moments feel angelic. Oh my gosh. So they hold this incredible vibration so that you can shift your frequency and get to the reception that you deserve and you desire. And without angels, I think life would be really, really hard on earth, but they don't intermingle with the human race and we don't become angels. We could, we have free will, we could do it, but it's just not something that either side desires often. So just giving you a heads up on what angels are. And there's billions of them. Like when a plane goes down, the angelic realm and everyone on the other side already knows that a plane's going to go down probably years in advance, and how many souls are going to be lost or transferred to a different reality. So there'll be hundreds of thousands of angels already there in the sky or on the ground or whenever they're needed to help everyone. Even if people are screaming out loud during a challenging event, they might feel peace and calm inside of their body because angels are right next to them, holding them, loving them, caressing them always, no matter what. Okay, now I'm going to start the voicemails. And thank you again for joining me. I love this. This is super, super fun.
Hi, Marie. My name is Kenneth. I'm contacting you from a small city called Næstved in Denmark. And first of all, I just want to be in full gratitude for you and the work you're doing and for your wonderful podcast. And thank you for giving me the opportunity and others to make a question here. I'm contacting you because I'm ill. I have been ill for 2.5 years now, and it started in my left foot, and now it is in my feet and in my hands. My doctor says that I have peripheral neuropathy, but he doesn't understand why I am in so much pain, a pain that is growing by the day, and he cannot find the underlying cause for it. Well, I would obviously like to know if you can see if you have any advice for me why I'm having this and what I can do to solve it. I've tried so many things. I've tried so many modalities, and I've spent so much money, but nothing seems to work. It just gets worse and worse and worse. I wonder if you can tell me what is it called? What chakra that I might have to work with. And I wonder if you can tell me, because I'm listening to a lot of frequency music, what would be the best frequency for me. And of course, if you have any other ideas or suggestions for me. I wonder if it has to do with some emotional blockages too, and what I could do to resolve those. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
So Kenneth, I'm so sorry that you're having so much pain, and your doctor's complexed because peripheral neuropathy isn't painful. Typically, it creates numbness, but sometimes it does create pain. A lot of times, people who've had chemotherapy get peripheral neuropathy. It's one of the side effects of the chemotherapy, actually, because it kind of kills the nerves and the extremities, like in the toes and the feet and the fingers and the hands. But on an energetic perspective, it doesn't look like peripheral neuropathy to me. It actually looks like Raynaud's, which is a form of arthritis. And I'm not saying you have this form of arthritis. I'm just telling you from an energetic perception, that's what it looks like. So there's going to be really 3 chakras involved, but 2 main chakras. The first chakra, which governs the tips of your toes all the way to your hips, and it governs all the properties in your blood. So that's why your feet were affected. And it's all about your childhood. The first chakra has everything to do with childhood. I would recommend, if you've never had therapy before, to get some therapy. But please choose the therapist that believes in energy and consciousness and vibration, that won't stay in the storytelling for months and months or years, because I don't think that's effective or helpful. I think we have to shift our stories and change our perceptions, and that's what creates healing. And then the 4th chakra, this is really the main. If we were to look at something like Raynaud's, it really comes from the heart chakra, although all arthritis comes from the 1st chakra, because the 1st chakra is about letting go. And people who have arthritic conditions hold on. They don't know how to surrender. So in this case, there's actually 3 because your immune system has been affected. Something's happened. And luckily, your doctors haven't completely diagnosed you. It means it's still very much energetic. So the heart chakra, which governs the movement of blood in your body, when we look at Raynaud's, what it looks like to me energetically, it's almost like blood and warmth doesn't get all the way down to the fingertips or the tips of the toes. And it's very painful. It hurts. It doesn't feel good. And so that's why I'm saying it's a first and a fourth chakra energetic diagnosis, if you will. The heart chakra is the highest receptivity center in the physical body. So it takes in the most amount of energy. And you don't take in a lot of energy, which doesn't allow for the blood to circulate as well as it could. So if you could listen to vibrations about receptivity and visualize or feel or somehow know that energy is moving into your back, maybe imagine millions of hummingbirds flying in, or your favorite music moving into your body. However you creatively want to experience receptivity, that would be awesome. That's a lifelong experience for you. And then the third chakra, which governs the immune system. So all diseases can be traced back to the third chakra. But when we are looking at someone having chronic or acute issues with your immune system, then falling in love with yourself is not an option. It's something that you need to do. You need to fall in love with yourself, which is an emotional experience. It's not a thought. I remember after my kids were born, and they were much older. So they were, I think I was 35 or 36, and I gave birth to my last child in my 30s. I think I was 32. So my kids were maybe 6, 4, and 2, or somewhere around there. They were under the age of 10, all 3 of them anyway. And I had a health issue. Luckily, it resolved. But I remember when I was diagnosed with it, I thought it had something to do with self-love and self-worth. And I thought to myself, wow, I love my kids so much. I would do anything for them. And wow, I don't feel that way about myself. And because I'm a human being and they're a human being, I'm just as lovable. Like, I logically knew that. And it took me a while to really move into a deep and respectful place of loving myself and loving myself often. That's your homework, Kenneth. Working on first family issues, hopefully with a really healthy therapist, someone who can help you with inner child work. And I do have a recommendation, but please ask your doctors about it. It's called serapeptase. You may have heard me talk about it on the show. It's an enzyme. It works really good for arthritis, any form of arthritis, because it breaks down proteins. It also helps with scar tissue. It's very interesting. If anyone's on a blood thinner, they cannot take it. It's contraindicated for that. But you can buy it in herbal form. I would recommend 120,000 SPUs for the natural supplement, but it's also something that is very much used in modern medicine. So your doctor could order the 240,000 SPUs for modern medicine, but you can only take it for a couple months. So ask your doctor about it, see what he or she thinks. But I think that could be something that we can start breaking up, because you don't know how to let go. You have emotional issues that are stuck in your body. And that's why you've led to this chronic, terrible pain, which I think will go away, and I'm excited for it. Okay, thank you, Kenneth. Best of luck to you. I'm going to move on to the next caller.
Hi, I'm Jane, and I've been really inspired by just listening to you. I just heard you on a YouTube show, and so for the last 3 years, I took care of both of my parents through hospice, and they were very elderly. And then I went traveling, and I've been 3 years on the road. I've been to all over Europe and gone on lots of hikes in the wilderness, and sometimes long ones. And so right now I find myself in a really beautiful location for the winter, and I've been happier than I've ever been. It's been an incredible experience to be here. I'm taking really good care of myself, eating organic foods and exercising, breathing techniques, and just a lot of deep moments, quiet moments. So my question is dealing with, and I'm sure you've had this a million times, but is dealing with past trauma and the burden and shame of ill will that goes with it. So, all I really want is to continue to feel this deep love I've been experiencing. So that is my question. I'd really, really love to be free of those experiences. I realize they are a motivator. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Jane, for your question. I can't wait to tell you what I'm receiving as I'm listening to your words. I'm so happy you're having fun. Please don't take care of any more people. Please. It is not in your highest good. You're an old soul, and old souls are natural caregivers, and they know how to care for other people. But just because you know how to do something doesn't mean it's in your best interest whatsoever. And you may have resistance towards not caring for others as much as you have in the past. And I always say, follow the resistance. Don't go, oh, I'm not supposed to do this because I feel this resistance. No, walk through the resistance, get curious about why you have resistance, because that's just simply the ego. So here's what I'm going to ask that you do. I don't want you to keep working on forgiving other people. I think that comes naturally and spontaneously when we have forgiven ourselves. And I know to some people, and maybe to you, Jane, that sounds crazy, because a lot of times when people have hurt us and betrayed us or lied to us or cheated or whatever the things that they've done, it's clearly their fault. They did this thing to us and they should apologize, but maybe they're dead or they can't or they won't. They're a narcissist, whatever the deal is. And so we're trying to forgive them. But old souls are incredibly smart. Old souls know that A, they pick their family before they incarnate for great reasons. They choose to come to Earth of free will. No one is ever forced to reincarnate into the physical reality. And so old souls blame themselves for everything. Everything. So I'm going to ask, especially since you're in this bliss of nature, and I love Europe. I love Europe. I just love it because it just feels like a true melting pot of people. And because a lot of Europeans get 5 weeks off for vacation, when you are vacationing with other Europeans, they really, really are relaxed. They really are in a good mood. They really know how to have fun. And I love the food in Europe. At any rate, so this is what I want you to do. I want you to say to yourself often, even if your mind thinks that this is a ridiculous idea, I don't care what the brain says, humans should ignore their minds unless they're using it to solve something logical. Like earlier today, I kept doing checks on my headphones and it wasn't working. And I'm reading instructions. I just have the basic ones on today. Finally, I pulled it out, in and out, like whatever, and made sure that it attached, and then ding, I got the right option. So that requires the logical mind, and I'm highly psychic. So going from psychic to logical sometimes can be a little challenging for me, as are many old souls, by the way. Many old souls are highly psychic. So you're going to say, Jane, honey, I love you with all my heart and soul. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I'm sorry that I allowed this to happen to you. You deserve to be loved, adored, and cherished. And none of this is your fault, but I'm very, very sorry. So forgive yourself, whatever language that works for you. You might have to play with it, but then you'll be able to spontaneously, at the perfect moment, to forgive someone else. And it's really not about forgiving them. It's just about not having the anger and the frustration inside of you. Most people who cheat people or betray people who are narcissists are younger souls, and they don't care about others. They don't have that compassion built in. They haven't lived long enough to build compassion. And all of us were young souls at one point. So there's nothing wrong with young souls. They're learning exactly what they need to be learning. And they're helping to teach older souls to set healthy boundaries, to say no, and to choose what's in their highest good, and to stop taking care of people who don't care about us. It's critical and important. I hope that's helpful. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next caller.
Hey Marie, this is Ian, and I am sending my message from Boulder, Colorado. My question is that I have been in a fantastic series of transformations in my life. I'm loving my relationship with my health, with my happiness, with my harmony in my relationships and friendships. And I feel great clarity in my business as a coach and consultant. But I wanted to dive in a bit more with you. I feel that the main focus for me right now is sitting with any fast-moving energy that's contacting blocks within me and just getting more comfortable with that and just really having more and more fun with that. And I'm curious what you pick up as you hear me describe this. I'm interested in feedback you have for my life in general, but specifically as far as my business, getting to contribute in the way that I get to guide people and how to better follow their intuition. What you think is the next best step for me. Thank you so much, Marie.
Hi, Ian. You're very welcome. I love Boulder. Gorgeous place. That's where Sounds True is, my publisher. So you don't have blockages. What you need to work on is receptivity. So nothing's wrong. And this is the truth for the majority of the population. Humans don't receive and they expect things to grow. But if you're not taking in the energy, just like if trees and plants don't take in the sunshine and the rain, they're not going to grow. It's not going to happen. So your job is to learn to rest, which it sounds like that's what you're doing, is to rest and be receptive. When I'm consciously focusing on receptivity, I often imagine that all the pores in my body are open and I'm just taking in universal life force energy. And because you have a specific desire to receive on, I would then feel inside your body that you have all the success that you desire, whatever that is, whatever it looks like, whatever it feels like, not how it happened, not where it happened, not how it's going to happen. None of those words are actually going to help in manifesting anything. They slow things down when humans start to analyze and process what it's supposed to look like. So practice for 5 minutes a day and feel the joy that you are at the pinnacle of your career and you are delighted and surprised and thrilled. That's what I would recommend. And keep me posted.
Hi, Marie. It is actually very beautiful that I found your information. I'm watching one of your podcasts and just feel your genuine just energy. And it's so beautiful in this world, in this, spiritual wellness world. But my name is Molly, and I have had a very wild slew of events in the past 3 weeks. It has included finding out about infidelity from a past partner. That was one of my loves for a long time. Experiencing a really intense car crash where my car was totaled and I had to get wrist surgery. I'm actually recording this so late because I had it today and I'm here now. Still awake and just grateful to have gone through the process, safe and sound. But it just feels like there is so many different things happening in my life, and I don't know if this is quite exactly what I'm supposed to be asking, but just any kind of guidance or understanding of all of these massive shifts. I can see a lot of the lessons and blessings through this experience, and there's still, a part of me that is afraid of okay, when's the next shoe gonna drop? It's really wild, but I'm also quite, I don't know. I just feel like I'm really close to making a connection to the spirit world. And this is, I don't know if this is quite a question, but I just wanted to share a bit of my story of where I'm at right now. And, it never hurts to just at least put this out there, right? So thank you so much for listening. And I appreciate you stepping into your work and what you're doing in this world, because I feel just the clarity and truth that comes from you. So, all right. Thank you. I will talk to you soon. Maybe. Hopefully. All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Molly. I'm so sorry about your wrist. I'm glad you're going to go have surgery and get an open reduction. They'll go inside there and fix it. Wrists are about allowing the universe to help you. I have broken both of my wrists twice. So yeah, I don't always let the universe help me. either. I broke one last year, so it's not like it's been decades since my last fracture. So you have to learn to let go and to let people help you. That's what, because see, the universe helps us, but the universe also helps us by sending people in human form to help us. This Thanksgiving, I was getting ready for the family to arrive, and I couldn't reach something at the top of the shelf. I was still home alone. And I kind of like, I need help. And then my nephew knocked on the door. He's super tall, gorgeous hunk of a young, healthy, wonderful person, walked in the kitchen and took care of everything that I needed, grabbed stuff off the shelves, made a beautiful board of food, cleaned up. I mean, it was heavenly. So you have to take advantage of these opportunities, because I could have opened the door. I hadn't seen him in a few years, and hugged and kissed him and sat him down and gave him a cup of tea and told him to relax. But luckily I didn't. I didn't do that. I made him work and we had so much fun. We had so much joy. So look out for all those opportunities where the universe is sending you help, along with the universe is helping you from a spiritual perspective as well. And then at the same time, you're going to also have to learn to let go and get out of the way. You need to learn to surrender, because this infidelity sounds like it was a long time ago or a while ago. So who cares? Who cares? People cheat all the time. Old souls are not good at infidelity, because they feel their partner so much, and they literally constantly consider how their actions would affect others. That's what happens when you've spent hundreds of thousands of years learning compassion. But younger souls don't do that, because they haven't had all that life experience yet. So they've sometimes, as their souls mature, they will have feelings after the fact, like, oh shoot, yeah, why did I do that? Or that must have been very painful. I'm so sorry. Where older souls, if they met someone, if they were in a partnership and they met someone that they felt a strong connection with and they wanted to spend time with that person, they would go tell their partner before they did anything. They go, so I met someone, I haven't done anything, but I want to, and I feel so bad, but I got to let you know, because I don't want to hurt you, that's what old souls do. So you have to learn to let go and surrender. And young souls and old souls have no business in intimate partnership. Even friendships are not going to get what the old soul wants or what the new soul wants. Old souls are going to be talking way over the head of younger souls, so they're not going to learn a lot in a relationship, marriage or otherwise, or child parent. That's why some people separate from their parents if their parents are really younger souls, or if their children are really younger souls, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's really hard to have healthy, honest, fair relationships with young and old souls mixing together. Like, doesn't work. So you had no business being in that relationship. Anyway, choose old souls only for your friendships and your intimacy. Okay, I hope that helps. On to the next person.
Good morning, Marie. This is Debra. I am in the Seattle area. I'm in Kirkland, and I have a question about my employment. I recently resigned from a job that was causing me pain. Finally listened to my body and resigned. And now I'm wondering what is in my future regarding my employment. I have a few jobs lined up. They're odd jobs, nothing concrete, but it's something that will help hold me over until I truly find what I need to be doing. So if you could give me some advice, I'd appreciate it. Thanks so much. Joyful blessings.
Thank you, Debra. Yeah, I'm right close to you, really close to you. So what would be lovely is if you could take some time off. You need to rest, in my opinion. So these odd jobs while you figure things out is a great idea. And in the meantime, what I would love for you to do is start to work on your relationship with wealth. So you don't have a great one, in my opinion. Of course, you can disagree with anything that I say. I would love for you to think of the ocean, the smell of the ocean, the sound of the ocean, the feel of the beach, you're on your feet, every time you're going to interact with wealth. So that means before you grab a credit card, cash, transfer funds, go to the mailbox, write out a check, before you touch your wallet, and this is forever. every single time forever, I want you to first think of the beach, because we need to heal this first so that you can get into higher frequency and vibration, so you can be attracted to those things that are, of course, going to sing to your heart and make your life fulfilling, but also be financially rewarding for you. Let's work on your finances first while you're doing these odd jobs so that you can choose something, of course, that's fulfilling, but you're not supposed to work that hard anymore. Yeah, I just want you to know that. So let me know how that goes. Okay. Thank you. And congratulations on a little bit of a break. Good job.
Hello, Marie. This is Jill from New York City. And my question is kind of a big one. I wonder what guidance you would give to us as we prepare to transition when that time comes. Thank you so much for all the joy that you've brought to my life. Thank you for all your gifts, and I'm looking forward to this new format. All the best to you.
Thank you, Jill. Great question, too. Interesting question. So I don't know if you're asking this question because you have someone in your life that's going to be transitioning soon to the other side, or if this is just a curious question for you, but I'll tell you my answer, even though I'm not exactly sure. And you could have both things going on. Most of the time, most people don't know when they're going to transition. Even people, and it's clear, like I've spoken to so many individuals who knew their loved ones were going to die, but were not even slightly prepared. Humans, especially Americans, we suck at death and dying. I should teach a class on it. It's been brought up to my attention a few times recently. I just think being present, even the transformational part of moving to the other side, if people can just be present, just be in their body, just be curious, they're going to have way more fun. It's going to be way more interesting. You're going to see all the dead people come in to collect you, and angels and God, and it's going to be so incredibly delicious. When I worked in the hospital and we had patients who were in significant pain, and so they were highly medicated, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And they were dying, like all their family had come to the hospital and they were saying goodbye. So the person, which was typically a parent, let's say, was aware that they were dying. And so there was probably a little bit of letting go that was happening inside of their body. And there are some people who don't let go, even if all of that's happening. And that's the hardest way to die, when you hold on and you don't surrender and you're constantly fighting and you're disagreeing with everyone that it's not time to go, but your body's dying, which is the sign. That makes it really hard to leave the body. That's a challenge, especially for young people who, if they have a disease, the rest of their body is healthy, but this one thing that we need is dying. So we would have these people who would fall asleep, because they were well medicated and they got to have rest, which was really wonderful. And when they would wake up, they would tell us how beautiful it was on the other side and all the people that they were connected to. And it was just charming and amazing. And they were excited. And then they would have something to talk about to their family members if for those who were communicating. And it was really quite beautiful. The answer to everything, whether we're talking about living on Earth or leaving Earth, is to become present. And that is an art form. Even right now, as I'm talking into the mic, I'm letting myself feel the AirPods or whatever these things are, my headphones in my ears. I'm letting myself feel them so that I become present, because I'm in a present moment. I'm sitting in a chair. I have headphones on. That's my present moment. So that would be my answer. Best of luck to you. And thank you again.
Hi, Marie. This is Nicole calling from San Jose. My question is, what messages are my spirit guides trying to send to me that I am unable to hear? Thank you.
Okay, Nicole, rather general, but I'm hooking into your guides right now. So you must feel like they're trying to tell you something. I mean, guides communicate all the time, but they're not in this urgent, you've got to figure this out, what's going on. Guides don't worry. They don't have anxiety. They're not pressuring us. Their job is to support you. Their job is to show you the path so that you can choose whatever's in your best interest. But then when you choose the opposite, which most of humanity does all the time, they support you. So what I'm hearing is they are appreciating and valuing the amount of time that you're putting into being quiet these days, that's incredible. Good for you. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. And they want you to continue that. They're recommending that you meditate for like 10 minutes a day, listening to brown noise, which is my favorite. And they say that within a couple, 2 to 3 weeks. And so don't give up. So many people put very little effort. And I don't mean this towards you, Nicole. You've put in a lot of effort, but put in very little effort to get to something that they've never experienced in their life, like communicating to the multisensory world. And they get frustrated after a week or two. It can take a while. This is a brand new concept. And I'm speaking to everyone who's listening on the podcast right now, that most people have never experienced. I was aware of the multisensory world since I was a child. It took me decades to have consistent connection. Of course, at the time, I wasn't desiring it. I wanted to be normal. I did not want to be weird. So it wasn't until my late 30s that I began to hear, see, and feel daily as I do today. So you're on the right track. Quiet your mind. And remember, when intuitive information comes in, and communicating with the spirit guides is an intuitive connection, it will be the opposite of what your brain tells you. So don't listen to your mind. Sit, feel, wiggle your toes, the lower half of your body, and hear from that place. That's where the answers come from. And they can't wait for you to have an awareness of them. They already love and adore and cherish you. All right, great question.
Hello, my name's Wendy. I'm from Lake Macquarie, New South Wales in Australia. I've recently discovered you and I'm just loving your content. I find that I feel really joyful and happy after watching you on YouTube and listening to your podcast. The thing I wanted to ask you about is I've recently moved into my parents' home. They've both passed away, and I'm in the process of there seems to be a lot of stuff everywhere, but I'm also establishing my own business. I'm a social worker, and I'm very interested in bringing my spirituality into my work. And I've been trained 1 and 2 in Reiki, and I guess I'm wondering how to bring initially, where to focus my energy. I feel a bit scattered between sorting the house and then what needs to be done to establish the business, and then doing the work itself for seeing clients. And I just feel a little bit scattered. So I'd love some advice around just around gaining some clarity and I guess channeling my energy and knowing what to focus on first. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Wendy. Thank you. And I want to go visit your part of the world. I can't wait to. It sounds absolutely gorgeous. I'm glad you're in your parents' home. They are jumping up and down. They're so glad you have the home. They're so happy for you. And they thank you for everything that you've done in the world and with them. They appreciate you dearly. I would focus on energy medicine and get that master Reiki attunement, which most people don't know. That's why I teach Reiki in a weekend. So you get all 3 levels of attunement, which would include distance and all of that. It's because it's the Raku, which is the last symbol, is the most powerful symbol out of all of them. So the first level of Reiki moves energy around, if I'm remembering this correctly. The second level of Reiki releases emotional and mental energies that are unhealthy, like blocks or whatnot. But Raku brings energy down into the body. It actually helps healers with psychic sight. It's very powerful. So that's why I would never teach it without teaching all of them. I know different teachers teach different ways. I'm not saying anyone's way is better than the other. I'm just saying that's the only way I would do it, because I know so many people who have 1 and or 2, but have never taken 3, where all the magic is. I think you should go directly into energy medicine. That's what I think you should do. But I would continue to work on getting the stuff out and having fun and relaxing as much as you can. You might even end up working part-time for some sort of social company, like social work company, while you build your own business. That's something that could happen. But I would go directly into energy work. I think you have the talent for it and the joy, and I'm excited for you. Okay, I'm going to take one more call before I end this podcast, because I have to go do some other work. So one more.
Oh, hi Marie. My name's Marianne. I've emailed recently and I've been watching your podcasts on Next Level Soul, and I was absolutely in awe of what you do. and you as a person and your story, really. I'm a nurse manager, and I'm very intuitive, very spiritual. I've been going down a bit of a journey, meditate twice a day, and I'm doing all the things basically. Both my parents passed away last year, and I nursed them at home. So they both got diagnosed with terminal cancer in the December, and my mum died in the April, and my dad passed away in October. I just wondered if there's any way I could get a message from my dad, really. I don't expect my mum to come through to me because I don't think she was keen on me.
Oh,
A bit of a hard time with my mum over the years, but my poor dad, I promised him he wouldn't suffer, and towards the end he really did, and
yeah.
I tried everything to get the help that he needed to make him comfortable, and for whatever reason it just didn't flow, and they were excuse me, they were really reluctant to help him and give him what he needed to make him comfortable. And I'm kind of left with that image, really. I've tried talking to him, and I'm desperate to know that he's okay. I'm sure you get hundreds and hundreds of requests, and if I'm one of the lucky ones to get an answer, I'll just be forever grateful.
Okay, I think that was the end. I'm so sorry, Marianne. Thank you for being a nurse. Thank you for taking care of your parents. They clearly wanted to go together. I had this one client who was married to this kind of not nice, and I'm being generous when I say this, husband, and he got very sick. It took him years to finally leave his body, even though his disease was very significant. He had to have dialysis 3 times a week, so his kidneys were very sick. And when he finally passed, I thought, wow, this would be great for my client. Then she got really sick and died shortly after he did. So some people don't want to be on the planet without their partner, even if the relationship isn't amazing, apparently. Even though you didn't want to talk to your mother, or you didn't think she was keen to you. I love, again, your words and language. She was the first person I saw. And the first thing I heard from her was her apologizing. She says, I apologize for not letting you know how adorable you are, how worthy and deserving you are, and how much I really, 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 really loved you. And then your mother told me very quickly, something that I've heard many times. Your mother was kind of stuck emotionally in junior high, which I don't know what that school age would be for your part of the world. But in our part of the world, in the US, junior high girls are kind of mean to each other. So your mother had never, matured past that developmental stage. So she was kind of jealous of you, jealous of your relationship with your dad, which is interesting. So she's apologizing, and which I think is critical and important, and I'm grateful. She obviously grew a lot when she left her body. Probably even in her dying process, she grew a lot because she didn't do any inner work that I can see while she was, fully capable of doing that. Your dad, on the other hand, wants me to tell you that he was not suffering, that his body was having a reaction, but he was calm on the inside. I know that sounds really weird. And if I had more time, I would tell you a gorgeous story. I will start my next podcast with the story. But your dad wants me to tell you that his body had a reaction, but he was fine on the inside. He wants you to know that. So sometimes the body, we have these mental constructs about what's supposed to be happening when things are happening to us. So like if a car kind of spins out of control, we scream, even though the car hasn't hit anything. We're screaming. So even though the energy is leaving the body can moan or call out when inside the person is having a very different experience, because most of their energy is already on the other side. Your dad's energy was already mostly on the other side for a very long time while he was having these experiences. So he really wasn't having the pain that you thought. And I wish I had time to tell you the beautiful story that happened while I was a nurse. I'll explain it on our next podcast. Thank you everyone for listening. You're all gems. I'm enjoying you very much. I love you all. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.